Well, the rain hasn't eased up as we look forward to the KF Junior Final. It's only about 7 degrees outside, I can tell you. It's not real warm. Here at Castelletto di Branduzzo, the second round of the WSK Super Master Series. With a bit of luck, that cloud will clear by the time we get underway for the KZ Final. Maybe I'm just being a little bit too optimistic. You can see how wet it is as Logan Sargent lines up on pole position for this final to get underway in 2.5 minutes' time. Clement Novalak, winner of the first round at Adria, on the outside of the front row of the grid. .329 to the right of your screen is the young Dane Noah Watt. Fastest qualifier on Friday in much different conditions to this. That's Charles Milesi from La France, who just scraped into the final thanks to a 17th place finish in the pre-final. Semi-worship there in the number 328 Ricky Flynn Motorsport kart. Just behind Petr Pacec, who surprisingly, the Czech driver, has made the switch to the Formula K team this weekend. Of course, with Bas Lammers and Lorenzo Complese after this race for the KZ2 final. Well, we hope it's a lot more warm and a lot drier wherever you're watching us live on WSK.it. It's cold and wet here at Castelletto di Branduzzo. Will be the American Logan Sargent to start on pole position. Hopefully all... When the green flag is waved, which is right now, no Sargent and Clement Novalak. A really smart young driver is Clement. He won the opening round at Adria, and he starts on grid 2 alongside Logan Sargent, Lorenzo Colombo alongside Noah Watt. Then it's Ivan Shvetsov, the super impressive young Marta Garcia on the third row of the grid. How about Perdana Minang from Indonesia for Kartronics International out of 7, alongside his countryman Presley Martono. The fifth row of the grid is the Russian Milan Ponomarenko alongside the Swiss Lucas Lejaret. Paavo Tonteri in the Croc promotion kart is alongside Isaac Blomqvist. That's the sixth row of the grid. Bogdan Fetisov with Ulisi De Pau. On the seventh row of the grid, Davide Lombardo is alongside Mikkel Hoyer. Sun Yang from China is alongside the Indian Kushmani. The ninth row of the grid, then it's the German Max Hess, also with Armando Fellini's Croc promotion team, alongside the Frenchman Tom Lelouet. 11th row of the grid, Petr Pacec, who we saw a moment ago, and look out for number 370, David Brinkman. There he is on screen now with a bright green helmet. Was fantastic in 2 of the heats yesterday. I should say 3 of the heats. He just had some bad luck in the third one when he was smashed out to the side of the track. Ended up with a bent chassis. Fortunately, that one's parked in the 10th, and they've switched to the wet weather kart, obviously, today. David Brinkman, number 370, the Tony kart on the 11th row of the grid. Your pole sitter, Logan Sargent, will lead them to the start-finish line. Suspect we will get a start on at the end of this very formation lap, in fact. 16 laps the distance, 20 kilometres, 1,256 metres is a lap of this Castelletto. It's cold, it's wet, it looks as though there's a little bit of tussle as they form up. You can see Noah Watt pushing Clement Novalak, trying to get a good clean start. They won't even make the start-finish line. The lead around the outside, is it Noah Watt? Indeed it is. From grid number 3, the young Dane, who qualified fastest on a dry track on Friday, has swept around the outside. He leads them down the back straight for the first time, ahead of the young Brit Clement Novalak. Logan Sargent, the pole sitter, is third. Marta Garcia up the inside. She goes now up into fourth spot. The young Spaniard puts a move. It looks as though that was either Lorenzo Colombo or Davide Lombardo. Noah White having to defend vigorously. Novalak looks behind lap. Oh, Noah White's gone wide, but he's got a good run out on the rim. Sargent. Marta Garcia now up into fourth spot from Lorenzo Colombo. Isaac Blomqvist, Ulissi Dupau, Lucas Lejore, Milan Ponomarenko, and Bogdan Fetisov rounds out your top 10. How about the German that we just spoke of? David Brinkman's made up 9 places on the opening lap. David's now up into 13th. Speaking of David's opening lap, the Energy Kart driver, number 314, has gone from grid 24. He is now in 12th place. Noah White from Clement Novalak, who takes the what looks behind him. Huge plumes of spray coming off these Vega tyres. Tight line for... And we've got the race neutralised. Double waved yellow flags, I'd call it. Race neutralisation in karting talk anyway. Noah White leads it with the race neutralised. Double yellow flags. There is no passing under these conditions. There was a kart parked on the inside of the final. And you think he's trying it hard, finding it hard to see. He's got no one in front of him. What about the drivers behind? Huge plumes of spray, as you can see, and they're only at walking pace. 16 lap race. This is 3 laps completed at the end of this one. Well, what a start. We've lost a couple, as is the Russian Ivan Shvetsov. Bad luck, Antonio Serravalle from Toronto in Canada. It's a long way across the Father Peter, and a DNF is no reward for young Antonio. Charles Milesi also is out of the race. One more lap under La France aussi. The number 321 Tony Kart. So we've lost 5 karts, including Mikel Hoyer also, who did have a fastest lap to his name earlier in the weekend. There's David Vidales on your screen, the graphic at least, karts in 1 lap. Podium at the WSK Champions Cup earlier in the year. Him down in 23rd spot, Felipe Drugovic from Maringá in Brazil. Christian Lundgaard down in position number 22. Just Kush Mania, fantastic pre-final. Finished in 4th, but Kush for Forza Racing, he's down in 20th. We get set for a restart. This KF Junior Final, the WSK Super Master. They all look behind them. There's nothing but go-karts behind each and every driver. Noah White leads them through turn number 1. This is the start of their 5th. Is free to pass the Dane if he's quick enough. He's coming under attack himself by your pole sitter. Logan Sargent has a big look up the inside. Clement Novalak gets it sideways as they accelerate up the back straight for the 5th time. Noah White turns in, natural understeer in these soaking wet conditions. Novalak, that's the line he favours, very, very deep, the traditional wet weather line. Lorenzo Colombo sits just behind this pack, ahead of Ulissi Dupau. Marta Garcia is still up there, the young Spaniard in the Alonso kart. Clement Novalak gets fantastic traction right behind young Noah on the inside. Oh, what a move! Clem pass on. Look at this. Noah White had no choice but to concede. Clement Novalak turned in, used the natural momentum of the kart. Didn't even understeer, just let it drift. Corrected it. Is your first round winner, Clement Novalak in the 320 Tony Kart. Noah White's not gone anywhere. Clement Novalak signals to him, says, let's try and pull away from the rest of the field. Gee, not by the look of that. Noah White's going to need to pass the Brit if there's any chance, because I can see Clement Novalak. The rain is coming down at Castelletto di Branduzzo. But how well is that Tony Kart setup of Clement Novalak? Why do I say that? Because it lifts the inside rear. Soaking wet conditions. He's got fantastic grip out of this machine. Noah Watt for Ricky Flynn Motorsport, as Milan Ponomarenko go straight. Clement Novalak going right to the limit of adhesion that time. You saw the kart buck and jump as he tried to turn it in. That's Logan Sargent, the American flag on his helmet. The driver from Florida in the United States of America. Fighting there with his teammate Noah Watt. Lorenzo Colombo says, I'll have a piece of this. Indeed he does, he just marches on through. Lorenzo Colombo is now on the podium if he can hold that position for another 10 laps. Yeah, just a little bit of a big ask. Colombo, Ulissi Dupao, Davide Vidales is now up into 5th. Noah Watt has dropped back to 6th spot. Sun Yun Yang is 7th ahead of Milan Ponomarenko. Fantastic drive by the young German. David Brinkman from Cologne in Germany is in 9th ahead of Marta Garcia. Max Hess, the other German. And what about the French driver? Jean-Baptiste Minuer has made up 17 positions. Baptiste is now in 12th. He only just scraped into the fall with an issue earlier on this morning. He's on the charge. Jean-Baptiste Minuer, sponsored by McDonald's in France, racing for the Tony Kart racing team in 2000 and kart in front of him until you get up to about the 3rd or 4th place drivers. Clement Novalak across the line for half race distance. That's Noah Watt going through. Davide Vidales in the energy kart. Tom Lelouet in the up the back straight one more time. Gets it sideways under acceleration. That's how slippery it is. It is still raining. Any chance of having the rain ease up for the KZ final at the conclusion of this one's virtually gone out the window. It is for sure going to be still a wet race. Not a chance that we will have anything approaching a dry line for the KZ final. That's going to be racing dynamite at the conclusion of this KF Junior final, which is currently being led by the Swiss Brit Clement Novalak. I did ask him once, I said, do you prefer to be called British or prefer to be called Swiss? He says, I don't care. I don't go any faster, whatever you call me. But he did respond with a perfect English accent. So we will call him an English driver. Move up the inside by Kush Maney, the number 317 Forza Racing kart. Logan Sargent has a big look at Clement Novalak going onto the back straight, but Novalak rear, lifting nicely, very, very softly set up go-kart. Again, he's still getting gripped down. When he turns in, sparks flying off the riffle strip that time. Watch the inside rear. Gets very, very light. A slow corner through the puddles. Logan Sargent, very used to racing in these wet conditions, is young Logan. Race away, and he was absolutely distraught when he did that earlier in the year at La Conca, but he came back a week later and won the second round of the WSK Champions Cup. He won't make the same mistake again. He's a very switched on, intelligent, disciplined young driver. Lorenzo Colombo goes through. Best presented karts here this weekend. The new collaboration between Viral Art, as they are now known. As we mentioned, Mr. Nicholas Tott was here himself on Friday to oversee the operation. Then jetted off to oversee his GP2 and GP3 teams. Very busy young man is Nicholas, but very committed to top-level international karting. Now the boss of the Viral Art racing team. No 6 last time round. Noah Watt back in 5th place. From Germany is still charging. He's now up into 7th. One behind the Russian is young Max, and ahead of the Frenchman Jean-Baptiste Minuer. Of course, Max Hess in the Croc promotion chassis. It is bucketing down here at Castelletto di Branduzzo yesterday. That's actually the forecast for tomorrow. Today, no chance of it being anything but wet and miserable. The racing on the track has still been sensational. Clement Novalak continues to lead from the American Logan Sargent. Ulissi DePau in the Birrell, briefly up into third spot, but it looks as though Noah Watt's taken that back. David Brinkman, Net Zero Tony Kart for the KSM Racing Team. Felipe Drugovic from Brazil up into 16th behind Lucas Legeray. 4 laps to go at the conclusion of this one. Novalak from Sargent. Up the back straight. This is where Novalak struggles for traction, although he wasn't too bad that time. Watch the inside rear for Novalak as he turns in. Skips up in the air. That's how much grip he's getting out of this Tony Kart. Both of these drivers. This is the KF Junior class. Will also fight Muro Lecese on September 27 this year, where it'll be about 25 degrees warmer than it is today. American Logan Sargent has not given up on taking a remarkable, if somewhat unlikely, victory. He did start from pole position, but as soon as Clement Novalak took the lead, give this up easily. He's led since about lap 4 or 5. Logan Sargent is still within half a second of him though. Watch through here. This is where Novalak struggles a little bit. Comes onto the straight again. Inside rear, skips up. Hotel hairpin with 2.5 laps to go. That's Ulissi DePau in the Birrell Art Kart. Working nicely also. Here's Logan Sargent. Well, now the race is starting to get serious. 2 and a bit laps to go. Logan Sargent takes the Novalak over the ripple strip. Sargent's going to get the run. He goes the out. Novalak into Noah Watt earlier in the race. Sargent's going to get the run onto the start finish straight. They are side by side into till side by side NASCAR style. But it's the American Logan Sargent who leads with a lap and a half to go. Clement Novalak's side. This is the part of the circuit where the Brit struggles. Oh, I spoke too soon because he's taken the lead back. A look over the shoulder, they touch. Up the back straight. Oh, Sargent's in the grass. Sargent is in the grass. Novalak has wing. I think he's got bent steering. Noah Watt has You saw the move up the back straight. Well, maybe his steering's not too bad because he's recovered. He's in 4th spot. That was sensational. Look at this. In the grass. He had into the grass. Clement Novalak carried on. I don't want to preempt the stewards, but I dare say 1 lap to go now for the Brit. Noah Watt, the Dane, badly for me actually. I'm up into 2nd spot. He did lead earlier on. He dropped back to 5th. He's in 2nd. Not too bad. Sargent, I wouldn't want to be within 30 metres of the American when they come into pit lane. Ulissi DePau in the Birrell Art. He's looking at a podium spot, the Belgian. The visor on. Well, let's just say the scene's going to be very, very interesting in Parc Fermé in half a lap's time. But take nothing. Clement Novalak, winner of the first round of the series at Adria. He's got this Tony Kart hooked up and flying. The checkered flag comes out for the Tony Kart driver, Clement Novalak. He wins it. Noah Watt, a fantastic drive into 2nd spot. And how about the Belgian? For Birrell Art, Ulissi DePau home in 3rd. Logan Sargent, you saw him shake his head as he came across the line. Not happy about it at all. Oh dear, what a race. That was just sensational. Clement Novalak, the winner from Noah Watt and Ulissi DePau. The 2nd round of the WSK Super Master Series in atrocious conditions here at Castelletto di Branduzzo. Davide Lombardo comes across the line, classified way down in 26th place. Bad luck for the young Italian, but it's all about the Brit and the American involved in it, but he'll pick up a 2nd place. 2 wins out of 2 starts in the WSK Super Master Series for the Swiss Brit driving the Tony kart, Clement Novalak. That's the scene here at Castelletto di Branduzzo, the 1,256 metre circuit. Absolutely saturated. We've still got the KZ final coming your way in a few moments' time at the conclusion of the podium. Provisional results on your screen. Clement Novalak wins it from Ulissi Dupau. Logan Sargent, in fact, is classified third. This is provisional. Noah Watt in fourth. Milan Ponomarenko takes fifth. These are provisional. Yeah, it's provisional results. Let's just say that Clement Novalak is your provisional winner. Going down through the field, fantastic drive. Max Hess from Germany up into sixth. Tom Luelue from France ahead of Lorenzo Colombo. Lucas Lejoret. Great recovery by Kushmani to finish one ahead of the German David Brinkman, Bogdan Fetisov and Christian Lundgaard. This was the start. Logan Sargent led through as we lost a couple off the line. Marta Garcia faded to finish 20th. That's her there. She ran well early on in the Alonso car. Watt and Sargent, they had a Novalak sandwich, but Novalak with the move of the race on Noah Watt. The only time I've ever seen a kart pass down into that part of the circuit. Watt and Sargent, the two Ricky Flynn Motorsport drivers. Clement Novalak though, he got to the front of the race, intelligent driving. That was him making the move for the lead on the American. Across the line they came. This was fantastic stuff. They went side by side for about 3 or 4 corners. Just brilliant racing between Sargent and Novalak. Unfortunately, it wouldn't end up like this. This was the move, Novalak up the back straight. They did touch. They were side by side. Sargent was out in the grass. Novalak was looking over his left shoulder, but on his right side, Sargent was struggling to hang on to that Ricky Flynn Motorsport kart in the grass at 100 k's an hour. Novalak took the checkered flag. Watt came home in second provisionally, with Ulissi Dupau in third. The provisional results will have the podium presentation for you here at Castelletto di Branduzzo in just a few moments. This is the WSK Super Master Series. You're watching live on WSK.it. Rain eases up as we get underway with the KF Junior podium. Great sportsmanship down here in third place. Let's hear it for the American, Logan Sargent. Second place for Birrell Art, a fantastic result for the Belgium, Ulissi Dupau.
The winner, 2 out of 2 from Britain, Clement Novalak. Third place trophy being presented to Logan Sargent. Second place, the Belgian for Birrell Art, Ulissi Dupau. And the winner, once again for the Tony Kart Racing team from Great Britain, Clement Novalak. We'll stand by for the national anthem of Great Britain. Signore, signore, ladies and gentlemen, the podium for KF Junior. Well, as the rain eases up, we've got one more to go. Don't go anywhere. The KZ2 final coming your way in just a moment. Tra poco il finale per KZ2. Tra poco.